Welcome to another episode of our True Crime Chronicles. Tonight, we delve into a chilling and perplexing case that has haunted a quiet town for decades. Sit back, relax, and allow yourself to be immersed in the eerie details of the story of the missing of Hollow Creek. Hollow Creek was a small, serene town nestled between rolling hills and dense forests. Everyone knew each other, and life moved at a comforting pace. But beneath its picturesque facade, the town held secrets that only time would dare reveal. In the summer of 1987, 3 residents vanished without a trace. Their names, Jessica Carter, Paul Whitman, and Sarah Delgado. They were not connected by age, occupation, or social circles. The only link was the day they disappeared, July 14th. Jessica Carter, a 17-year-old high school student, left her home around noon to visit a friend who lived across town. She never arrived. Her bicycle was later found abandoned near the old sawmill on the outskirts of Hollow Creek. Her parents, devastated, reported her missing immediately. The police combed the nearby woods and riverbanks, but Jessica was gone. There were no signs of struggle, no witnesses, and no clues, just the silent question. Where did she go? Only hours later, Paul Whitman, a 43-year-old mechanic, was seen closing his garage early. His neighbor saw him walking toward the same path leading to the sawmill. Paul was never seen again. Then came Sarah Delgado, a 29-year-old schoolteacher, who left the local library in the afternoon and vanished before reaching her car. The 3 disappearances within a single day sent waves of panic through the community. Detective Harold Mendez, a seasoned investigator, was brought in from a neighboring city. He interviewed friends, family members, and colleagues, but there was no apparent connection between the victims. The only piece of physical evidence was a small, carved wooden token found near Jessica's abandoned bicycle. The symbol was unfamiliar and did not match any known cultural or criminal signatures. While digging into the town's past, Detective Mendez uncovered something chilling. In 1956, 3 other people had vanished in Hollow Creek, also on July 14th. The old police files were incomplete, but the cases remained unsolved. The common location, the old sawmill. Residents whispered about the mill being cursed, abandoned after a series of accidents. No one dared go near it anymore. The building, with its creaking wooden beams and overgrown vines, seemed to watch over the town like a silent guardian of dark secrets. In the attic of the old Whitman garage, Detective Mendez found a dusty box containing Paul Whitman's belongings. Among them was a diary belonging to Paul's grandfather, who had worked at the sawmill in the 1950s. The diary spoke of strange rituals, disappearances, and a group of townsfolk who gathered at the mill every July 14th to feed the shadows. The entries were fragmented, but they mentioned an entity referred to only as the Watcher of the Woods. Mendez requested the missing files from the 1956 cases but was met with resistance. Officially, the files were lost in a fire, but an old retired officer quietly provided photocopies he had kept. The files revealed that all 3 victims in 1956 had also left behind wooden tokens with the same strange symbol. The pattern was undeniable. Despite warnings from the locals, Mendez ventured to the sawmill alone at dusk. The air was thick, the silence almost suffocating. Inside, the walls were covered in markings, some old, some fresh. In the center of the mill, he found a circle of stones, blackened by fire, and 3 more wooden tokens placed carefully within it. It was as if the ritual had been repeated that very year. A woman named Evelyn Marks came forward, claiming she saw a hooded figure near the sawmill on the night of the disappearances. She had stayed silent out of fear, but the nightmares had become unbearable. Her description matched a man named Gregory Holt, a reclusive figure known for his fascination with ancient symbols and folklore. Holt had disappeared from Hollow Creek in the early 1990s, but his abandoned cabin still stood deep in the woods. Mendez and a search team hiked to Holt's cabin. Inside, they found journals filled with drawings of the Watcher of the Woods, rituals, and detailed accounts of the previous disappearances. Holt wrote that the town had made a pact generations ago to keep the entity appeased and that the sacrifices had to continue every 31 years. The last entry, written in shaky handwriting, simply said, "I can no longer resist the call. I am becoming the next watcher." Despite the overwhelming evidence of a dark tradition, no one was ever arrested. The disappearances of Jessica, Paul, and Sarah remained officially unsolved. Every July 14th, Hollow Creek falls into a quiet unease. Shops close early. Families stay indoors. The sawmill stands in silence, yet some claim they still hear whispers from within. Detective Mendez eventually retired, but he never stopped investigating on his own. In his final notes, he wrote that Hollow Creek was not unique. Other towns with similar disappearances, similar symbols, and similar dates existed. His conclusion: Hollow Creek was part of something much larger, a network of ancient pacts and forgotten entities that still demand remembrance. Some say Mendez disappeared on July 14th, years after leaving the force. His notebook was found near the sawmill, open to a blank page. Welcome to another episode of True Crime Chronicles. Tonight, we explore the eerie case known as the Whispering Shadows, a mystery that has perplexed investigators and locals alike for over 40 years. Settle in, breathe deeply, and prepare to immerse yourself in a chilling journey through darkness and secrets. Ravens Hollow was a small, fog-draped town nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains. The streets were lined with old brick buildings, and a thick canopy of trees shielded the town from the outside world. It was the kind of place where secrets thrived in whispers. In October of 1983, the disappearance of Emily Clark, a local librarian, shook the community to its core. Emily was last seen closing the library at dusk, but she never made it home. Several witnesses reported seeing a shadowy figure trailing Emily that evening. Descriptions varied. Some said the figure was tall and thin, others swore it seemed almost formless, shifting with the mist. Despite extensive searches, no trace of Emily was found, and her disappearance quickly became a cold case. Over the next decade, a disturbing pattern emerged. Other residents began disappearing under similar mysterious circumstances. Always on foggy nights. Always leaving behind no evidence but a faint whisper heard by those left behind. The town's oldest residents recalled legends of the Whispering Shadows, ethereal entities said to lure the unwary into the woods, never to return. In 1995, Detective Marcus Hale was assigned to investigate the growing string of disappearances. Known for his sharp mind and relentless pursuit of truth, Hale immersed himself in the town's history and folklore. He uncovered accounts of unexplained phenomena dating back to the 19th century, with the shadows believed to be manifestations of restless souls. A breakthrough came when a teenager named Lily reported hearing whispers calling her name late at night. She described seeing figures at the edge of the woods, beckoning her to follow. Lily's courage and detailed accounts provided Hale with the first tangible clues. Hale organized a night expedition with a small team. Equipped with infrared cameras and recording devices, they ventured into the fog-shrouded forest. Strange sounds echoed between the trees, and fleeting shadows were caught on camera, but no physical entity was ever confirmed. In a dusty corner of the town's historical society, Hale found an ancient manuscript detailing rituals intended to protect the town from malevolent spirits. The manuscript warned that neglecting these rites could invite disaster. It seemed the townspeople had long forgotten the importance of these customs. Hale learned that decades earlier, Ravens Hollow had celebrated an annual festival of lights meant to ward off darkness and keep the shadows at bay. The festival had fallen out of practice, correlating with the uptick in disappearances. With the community's support, Hale helped organize a revival of the Festival of Lights. Lanterns were hung, songs were sung, and the townsfolk came together to remember and honor their heritage. That year, no one disappeared. Despite the festival's success, one final mystery remained. On the festival's last night, Hale encountered a figure cloaked in shadow, whispering warnings about the fragile balance between the living and the dead. The figure vanished before Hale could confront it, leaving behind a chilling sense that the shadows were always watching. Chapter 1: The Quiet Town. Blackwood Ridge was the kind of place where everyone knew each other. Nestled deep in the Appalachian foothills, the town thrived on tradition and a close-knit community. But beneath its calm surface lurked an unsettling secret, one that would shatter the peace forever. In late autumn 1992, the town's tranquility was shattered by the disappearance of David Mercer, a local schoolteacher. On a cold October evening, he vanished without a trace after leaving the school auditorium following a community meeting. Witnesses recall seeing David walking down Pine Street, the mist hanging low as if hiding something sinister. His car was found abandoned days later near the edge of Blackwood Forest, the engine still warm. No signs of struggle or forced entry were found. Weeks passed and the town grew restless. Then another disappearance. Sarah Thompson, a young mother and nurse, vanished one foggy night on her way home from the clinic. Her purse and keys were found on the side of the road, but no other trace. Within months, 3 more residents would vanish, all under eerily similar circumstances. Detective Laura Reynolds was brought in from the nearby city. Known for her sharp intuition and unyielding dedication, she quickly sensed there was more to these disappearances than random accidents. Her initial interviews uncovered whispers of old legends, stories about the forest being cursed, and a shadowy figure known only as the Watcher. Locals described the Watcher as a tall, cloaked silhouette often seen standing silently at the edge of the forest during twilight. Some claimed it was a spirit protecting the woods, others whispered it was something far more malevolent. Despite skepticism, the descriptions shared by multiple eyewitnesses painted a consistent, haunting picture. Detective Reynolds explored Blackwood Forest with local guides. Deep within the woods, they found an abandoned cabin covered in strange symbols carved into the trees, scratched on the walls. The cabin showed signs of recent activity. Inside, a journal lay open, its pages filled with cryptic entries referencing the balance, sacrifices, and warnings to keep the Watcher appeased. Digging into Blackwood Ridge's history, Reynolds discovered the town was founded atop land once sacred to indigenous tribes. Old treaties were broken, forests cleared, and ancient rituals forgotten. Stories told of a guardian spirit angered by the disrespect exacting a terrible price. A breakthrough came when a local historian shared accounts of a secret society. The Keepers of the Watch, descendants sworn to protect the town by appeasing the forest spirit through rituals and offerings. When these rituals stopped decades ago, the disappearances began. Faced with this knowledge, the town was divided. Some wanted to revive the old ways, others dismissed it as superstition. Tensions rose as fear deepened. With Detective Reynolds' guidance, a group of townsfolk revived the ancient ritual. Under a full moon, they gathered in the forest, offering gifts and prayers. The forest seemed to breathe, the air thick with unseen presence. Following the ritual, disappearances ceased. But whispers remained, stories of strange lights in the forest, eerie sounds at night. The Watcher was still there, watching. Years later, a developer bought land near Blackwood Forest, planning to clear it for new housing. Shortly after, strange accidents plagued the construction crew. Local legends told of the Watcher's wrath against those who desecrate the sacred land. After a series of mishaps, work was halted. Detective Reynolds left town, but the case haunted her. She warned others that some forces aren't meant to be disturbed. Blackwood Ridge remains quiet, its secrets buried beneath the trees. But the Watcher's eyes still gleam in the twilight, a silent guardian or a warning to all who dare forget. Thank you for joining us in this chilling journey. If you found this story captivating, subscribe to our True Crime Chronicles for more detailed and haunting tales. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, some legends might be closer to the truth than we think.